Hi, my name is Darren Joseph from HEJ.tax, and we're the team that seeks to demystify that sometimes confusing world of international tax. And today I want to talk about the Southern Cone. So basically, the countries at the very southern tip of South America, which would include Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay. Some people would throw southern Brazil in there. I don't know. But anyway, but you know geographically what I'm thinking of. So, for many of our clients who are concerned with, let's say, the geopolitical dynamics of the Northern Hemisphere, well, particularly Western Europe and North America, which will tend to be the meccas or the jurisdictions that attract the largest number of high net worth individuals. Some people are uncomfortable for whatever reason with the geopolitics up there, to each his own. And for many of those, the southern part of South America is becoming more and more attractive. So, I mean, this is all good, but what I wanted to do for those who may be considering it, so what I want to talk about today would be three factors that do make it attractive, but I also want to talk about three factors that should give one pause or one should kind of figure out and factor in before making such a big decision. All right, so in terms of the three factors that make the southern part of South America pretty attractive, I think quality of life, for those who are into lots of fresh air, lots of outdoors, lots of things to do, see, lots of culture, diversity, arts, entertainment. So yeah, these are jurisdictions that tend to be consistently highly ranked in terms of quality of life. That goes without saying. So the second thing I want to talk about is enclaves. When you're talking about South America, when you talk or Latin America in general, or you're talking about the Caribbean, you're talking about jurisdictions where there's great diversity. And what do I mean by diversity? In that you may have the best healthcare, best education, highest quality condos and villas, but you also within that same jurisdiction have extreme poverty, extreme crime, low quality infrastructure, right? So the key thing is to find yourself in the right enclave. So, for example, if you're in Uruguay, you might want to go to Punta del Este, for example. And once you find yourself in the right enclave, regardless of which of those jurisdictions in the southern part of South America, if you find yourself in the right enclave, that's key to really leveraging the best that jurisdiction has to offer to you as a higher net worth individual. And thirdly, relatively speaking, they're relatively stable democracies and they're relatively off the grid when it comes to geopolitical uncertainties. Because, God forbid something were to happen, the geopolitical hotspots tend to be in the northern hemisphere. So the fact that the southern part of South America is so far away from that, to me, is just a plus. And for clients who do see the southern cone as a plan B, that is definitely one of the benefits. The fact that it's far away and it's relatively more stable as a region than certain parts of the northern hemisphere. Now let's talk about three factors to consider as you go down, as you explore your options down there. First will be, of course, sorry I'm biased, taxation. Obviously, some jurisdictions are more attractive than others. You have genuine territorial tax in Paraguay, and you have quite an aggressive tax regime in Argentina, for example, which makes pre-immigration tax planning really, really important. Because even though some jurisdictions, for example, Uruguay, may not be genuine territorial tax, with some measure of tax planning, you can enjoy the benefits of a territorial tax regime, at least for a limited period of time. The second thing is bureaucracy and potential supply chain issues. Depending on where you are, dealing with the government bureaucracy can be perhaps more burdensome than what you're accustomed to. And in the event of any sort of disruption, understand that the infrastructure joining various enclaves, joining various villages or cities may not be as robust as what you're accustomed to in the Northern Hemisphere, which means in the event of whatever disruption, you would need to plan accordingly. Which leads to the third part, safety. Again, the key is your enclave, your enclave, your enclave, because outside of your protected bubble, things may not be as safe and you'd always need to be conscious of your surroundings. But other than that, other than those factors to consider, I'm a big fan of South America. I'm heading to Buenos Aires in a few weeks, and I'll be spending a part of the next month in Paraguay as I renew my residency there. My name is Darren Joseph from HTJ Tax, and I'll see you next time.